I'll do it. I'll go," you say in tears as you reach out for Delilah. The moment your hand touches Delilah's, you are instantly standing in a place with very little color. The sun has already sunk below the horizon, and looming gray clouds hang heavily overhead. Ill-nourished flowers, faded and sickly, are here and there in the midst of parched yellow patches of grass. Everywhere you look, the countryside surrounding you is in a gradual state of deterioration. As you continue on, the sad-looking vegetation gives way to barren rocks. The light steadily diminishes, and everything surrounding you appears in dismal shades of gray. Even your clothing looks gray. Before you, a rocky pathway winds its way downhill through massive boulders and on into what appears to be a land of deep, black, impenetrable darkness. Looking deeply into your eyes, Delilah says, "I can't go any further with you than this. You won't get lost. Just keep heading downhill. You will eventually come to a place that is at the very bottom of a deep crater." "And that's why Thomas sent me here? That's what he wants me to see, some crater?" "Yes, it's the place he fears above all else. He doesn't know for sure what it's like there, but he's heard rumors, and he's terrified." Your body shivers uncontrollably. "I have to go?" "If you don't go now, Thomas will find a way to send you back again," says Delilah. "But I have 2 gifts for you. One is this rose quartz," she says, handing a polished, pink, heart-shaped stone to you. "It will protect you, so don't lose it. My second gift is that you won't consciously remember any of this when you come back to life in your avatar body." "But if I can't remember, how will I tell Thomas what I saw?" you say anxiously. "Thomas will pick up your experience telepathically," says Delilah, wrapping her arms around you and hugging you tightly. Hanging on for dear life, you close your eyes tightly and wish away whatever is to come. But in the next moment, Delilah is gone. Your heart sinks as you walk along a hardened pathway that crosses over barren, colorless land. A dull gray sky looms lifeless overhead, and the temperature is dropping quickly. When you were in the realms of light, surrounded by beauty, the idea of doing this on your own seemed viable, heroic even. But now you're all alone, and your feelings of vulnerability and helplessness gather strength as you climb to the top of a rocky hill and find nothing below but a towering bank of mist. You look around desperately for another way down, but the fog spreads out as far as you can see. Fear seizes you all at once as you follow the path into mist that wraps itself around you like a death shroud. You can barely see the ground as you slowly and carefully pick your way down the slick, rocky hillside. The fog gathers in density until it transforms into swirling, damp, heavy clouds that press upon you like cold, dead weight. Nervously, you wrap your fingers around the pink heart-shaped stone in your pocket, and to your surprise, you suddenly feel warm and a bit less frightened as well. Gradually, the clouds dissipate until they vanish altogether, revealing a bleak landscape with no trees or grass or plants of any kind, leaving only small square houses that look completely uninviting and even a bit sinister in their utter plainness. Every home stood solitary and forlorn, without a single adornment, as if each were housing people who lived in extreme poverty. As you pass by the houses, you see a middle-aged man standing on his porch, dressed in what might have been worn in the 1800s by someone very wealthy. But each piece is completely tattered and threadbare, leaving him with nothing more than an air of faded prosperity. With no effort at all, you clearly see an overlay that shows you the kind of person he was while on Earth. He had been a very successful businessman, and though he made sure that everything he did was legal, he was ruthless in his treatment of others. At home, everyone was subservient to him. He gave generously to charity and his church, but only if he saw a financial or social advantage for himself. He was solely motivated by selfishness and greed. Though the man doesn't seem to notice you, you give him a wide berth as you walk quietly past his house. Even so, you can hear him muttering to himself about the injustice of it all and how much he is forced to suffer in this place. Suddenly his eyes narrow and shift upward until he is staring suspiciously in your direction. Instinctively, you stop in your tracks. He stares for a moment longer, and then looks away and continues ranting about his pathetic existence. You know that the stone is protecting you from the cold, but is it causing you to be invisible as well? Testing the situation, you carefully draw your hand away from the crystal in your pocket. The instant you lose contact with the stone, the man's head jerks up. Licking his lips, he stares greedily at you, as if you're about to be his next meal. Jamming your hand back into your pocket, you grab the stone. Instantly the man's eyes go blank, as if you had been nothing more than a figment of his imagination. Silently you continue on. You are still unseen by the man, but you are able to hear him grumbling for quite some time. Gradually the path seems to disappear as you pick your way through rocky formations. The grey light diminishes rapidly from the darkening heavy black sky. There isn't a soul or any sign of life whatsoever. Everything surrounding you is colorless and empty, as if you had just wandered into another world. Dimly ahead you can see some dwellings as you pass through rocks and nothing else. Here and there you see people sitting silently, their heads bowed down, filled with gloom and despair. These structures are nothing more than shacks, so utterly worn down and disheveled, it is distressing just to look at them. But it's infinitely more unsettling that these repulsive places are the end result of someone's lifetime on Earth. You jump as a man suddenly appears out of the darkness and speaks to you.
"I'm sorry if I frightened you,"
he says gently.
"But my dear, this isn't where you belong. If you continue in this direction, you may not return to the world of light for a very long time."
You stand quietly for a moment, staring at him. Are you someone who tries to help these people?
Yes. There are many of us who continually attempt to rescue those who end up here. But we find it impossible to succeed if they don't want to be rescued.
How do you know they don't want to be rescued? Why would anyone want to live like this? You say, aghast.
If the person doesn't have a glimmer of light in their mind, or even the slightest desire to step forward onto a different path, then nothing, literally nothing, can be done. The desire to change has to come from deep within that person. People here are revealed for being exactly who they are, and so they punish themselves, choosing over and over to be right. But there always comes a time, even if it takes thousands of years, where they finally realize they've punished themselves long enough with their own thoughts and convictions. And when the darkness they've created no longer holds any attraction to them, they finally choose to let go. And in that moment, they are immediately transported out of the darkness and into a place where they can begin to heal. It takes time because they have to acclimate to the light realms. But we've never lost anyone, says the man, smiling as he answers your unspoken question.
But why did you say that I might not be able to get back to where I came from? You ask anxiously. If I came in this way, why couldn't I get back out?
Let me explain, says the man kindly. Have you noticed that there's nothing keeping these people here? There are no walls, no prisons, no restraints of any kind.
So why don't they just leave and go to where it's beautiful? You ask, as you think of how miserable life must be in this place.
Think of the spirit world like a mountainside. When a person exits the game, they instantly find themselves on a part of the mountain that matches their most deeply held beliefs on earth. But no matter what level you are on, if you try to enter a level that is higher than your own frequency, it would be very much like trying to climb Mount Everest without acclimating to the lack of oxygen. You simply come to a point where you can't breathe, and this causes everyone to turn around and go back to where they came from.
But if I came from a higher part of the mountain, then why can't I go back? You ask.
My dear, the reason I suggest you don't continue any further is because you are empathic. The discomfort you experience is caused by your ability to feel the thoughts and beliefs of others. It's manageable now, but it will get far worse the deeper you go, and you're not trained to be here. I too am empathic, and I understand your reasons for being here. But please listen to me. If you continue on, you will be surrounded by people who are drowning in their own misery. And if they see you, if they have any awareness of your presence, they will grab hold of you and energetically take you down with them. You will forget who you are and how you came to be there. Their world of darkness will become your only reality.